Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to tell you a bit about my experience with plant medicine, namely ayahuasca. So some of you may know that ayahuasca is a plant medicine that is used by many tribes in the Amazon forest in various countries in South America. It's a natural plant medicine. There's no chemicals in there, and the active ingredient is DMT, which every living thing contains and secretes while you're dreaming and when you die. Ayahuasca is a very potent, some would call it a psychedelic. I would say it's a bit deeper, a very, very potent experience. It's very individual, and the way I would explain it is it's like taking a journey into your subconscious mind so that you can discover what really is holding you back from seeing the love within you and within the whole universe. And ayahuasca is a very gentle, guiding, they call it a mother energy because it has a feminine, nurturing energy, as all living things have different types of energy and different genders of energy. So I've done ayahuasca 3 different times. The first 2 times were with the Santo Daime Church in Brazil, and they do a ceremony in the daytime. And the 3rd time was with a shaman from Peru, from the Shipibo tribe. The first time that I drank ayahuasca, well, before I ever did ayahuasca, I always told myself I would never do such a thing. I was always afraid of really potent psychedelics, and I didn't trust myself to be out of control of my body and to basically open myself up to different energies, and I just was very terrified of the whole thing. And the way this plant medicine works is it generally calls to you. So you'll start seeing signs, or what people call synchronicities. So like you'll see a video about someone who just did it, or you'll have a friend who just did it, and then you just keep getting signs and signs where it feels like this spirit is calling to you, because it means on a conscious level that you are ready for such a step in your life. So that's basically what happened to me, is the medicine started to call to me. I started noticing a lot of people I knew doing it. I met someone who actually was directly friends with shamans who did it and who administered the medicine. So it was like all that fear that I initially had of ever doing it seemed to fade away, and suddenly my heart just knew I was ready to try it. I didn't feel scared anymore. It felt like I was at a point in my life where I wanted to take a leap. I wanted to level up, and I needed something to show me myself, to take me outside of my habits and my blind spots. The first time I drank the cup at the first ceremony, I felt this warm energy like surging throughout my body, and it started feeling slowly like I was losing that control. Like my ego was like, okay, you're not gonna be controlling how this goes down right now. So it was a little bit terrifying, but I remembered what some friends told me, which is to like keep breathing, and that your breath is kind of what anchors you in the experience. So that helped a lot. So there was a lot of different emotional things going on. It felt like I was laughing a lot and crying a lot and seeing visuals, and it's just like sensory overload, like all these different things. But it just felt like this powerful presence of this mother spirit was guiding me the whole time. So some of what I experienced was being regressed into my family's timeline and seeing my family's karma. So there were different issues that I had with my mother and how she treated me, and I could see that somehow she had experienced the same thing in her upbringing, and her mother experienced the same thing, and it was shown to me very clearly that this is like an energetic link. And that's why people say that it's up to us to heal our ancestral wounds, and it's very true, not only on a spiritual, energetic level, but physically they've proven now through epigenetics that our genes, our tissues carry the experiences of our parents and grandparents. This is why you'll see in different families alcoholism or drug abuse can like skip a generation or skip 2 generations, and you know, it'll look like everything's fine, but there'll be issues that show up because genetically and karmically they get passed down. So that's one of the beautiful things that I experienced with the medicine, is like it revealing to me how this had been passed down, which made me embrace more forgiveness towards my mother and to take more self-responsibility, to see that it's my energy now, it's my energetic composition, so it's up to me to shift this energy and be a sovereign person, take control of what I'm experiencing and change it so that my life improves. In this ceremony, they're playing music and chanting hymns, and you can feel the energy dancing around and sort of guiding you. Sometimes the lyrics of the songs will sort of guide you through the experience. So music's a very big part of it, the singing. When you're on this medicine, your senses are very heightened, so they ask you not to really interfere with or go into another person's journey, because you can feel things like to such a strong degree that you have to be very careful to focus on your own journey. So I remember at one point in this first ceremony, there was a really attractive guy there, and I was being very cautious so as not to put my energy or my focus into looking at him, and it ended up being a part of my emotional purging experience, because what I felt was this sense of shame from this like programming that a lot of us grow up with, and that I especially grew up with, which is just denying our inherent sexuality and intimacy. So it felt like I was doing something shameful or wrong, and at the same time I didn't really have a control over it. It was just kind of like I wasn't really doing anything, I was just looking. And through that experience, I ended up seeing that it was just sort of a false program. Like, there's really nothing wrong with us having natural attractions to people. And once I had that realization, I ended up like purging, basically throwing up into the bucket, and it felt like I just took like all those years of programming and shame and just like dumped it into the bucket. So that's a lot of how the purging experience works, is like you'll feel like you want to let something go, and there's just issues bubbling up, and until you accept them and you embrace them, which is how you're healing yourself, is you're accepting and embracing yourself, and then it no longer haunts you. You're facing your demons in a sense. And so it felt really nice to just release that shame. Another purge for me was just having this laughter purge. So in my upbringing, it was sort of bizarre to be overly like joyful or laughing, like it's like, oh, what's so funny, you know. So a lot of that in me, I had no idea, but it was suppressed. So the medicine was like just pushing me to just laugh, and it was just like laughing and laughing uncontrollably. And it was very ironic, because you know, there's so many different things going on in the background. There's people screaming and like crying. I'm just like laughing and it was just like giving me permission to be that inner child, to just like laugh and just like be joyful. Like, it's okay to be happy. I think that's a big thing that a lot of us in our current society need to embrace, is like, it's okay to be silly. Like, there's so many people just walking around like so serious, and it's like, why can't we just be silly? It's wrong with laughing and, you know, just joking, being lighthearted. So that was some of the stuff I experienced on my first trip. On my second trip, also with the Church of Santa Daime, that one really was challenging. It was basically my ego was fighting to survive and to hold an identity, but the medicine was basically showing me visually I was everything. I was the entire cosmos. I was the entire consciousness of the universe. And so it felt the whole time like I was dead, like there was no me, like I didn't exist. Because if I'm everything and there's no identity to me, then who am I? And so I was trying so hard to surrender to the experience, and it was just so intense that I didn't even know how. So I had a really difficult time with that trip. So it was just almost like 4 or 5 hours of going through hell, but coming out the other ends of that was really liberating. And it felt sort of like I could feel my brain kind of like rewiring itself, like new neural pathways are being created, like I could physically feel my brain like changing its chemistry, which was pretty cool. I remember on that trip, one way that my ego was trying to hold on was, it was telling me, you're really thirsty, like you need to go drink water. And so I wanted to, but I was so heavily affected by the medicine, just like laying there, and I couldn't do it. And it was like, no, but I need this, like I need water, like, or else I'm not gonna survive. And it's like, since I didn't have a choice, I ended up seeing like, oh, actually didn't even need water. Like, it was just bizarre. It's like all these things, like how we tell ourselves we need something and we need to control and we need to like have it like this and like that, and it's like this consciousness, this divine mother energy is just like, you don't need to do anything, like everything's already being done for you, you're perfectly provided for. And it's just the ego that thinks we need to like fight to survive and like fight to provide for ourselves and create stability. And so that was an interesting experience. My third time receiving medicine was with a shaman from the Shipibo tribe, and again I was terrified and I didn't really want to do it, but it's kind of like, it's medicine, so you know it's not gonna feel that great, but you just want to do it for the benefits. Interestingly, as they say, like, you never really know what you're going to experience. So we try and think like, oh, our past experiences mean it's going to be like this, so you think you know what's going to happen. And during that experience, it was very much a gentle experience. It was just a feeling of just mellow, just kind of like connection with myself. There were certain visuals, but it was mostly like a reassurance of me knowing who I am, and the medicine telling me to be more aware of my abilities and my strengths, and not to think that all my power lies outside of me, but to embrace my internal power. And it's definitely something I see myself doing now, which is like stepping into my own power, my own voice, and seeing that I have that capability to be a leader or to be someone I can rely on. Like, I can rely on myself. Like, I have the power to carry myself through whatever I need to. So that's pretty much it for my experiences. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment below. And if you would like some more information on places I recommend, feel free to send me a message. And if you have anything else you want to discuss, I would definitely emphasize that ayahuasca is not a drug. It is a medicine, so it's not something recreational, and it's something you do because you want to explore your spirit, you want to feel connected to divine love again, and to heal whatever things might be holding you back in life.